In this lecture, we will talk about user input in Python. In this lecture, you will know how to accept the user input in Python so your program can then work with it. When your program needs a name, you will be able to prompt the user for a name. When your program needs a list of names, you will be able to prompt the user for a series of names. To do this, you will use the input function. How the input function works? The input function pauses your program and waits for the user to enter some text. Once Python receives the user's input, it stores it in a variable to make it convenient for you to work with. So here, let us see the message is a variable and we use an input. After the input is a prompt to give information to user to input something. So here is tell me something and I will repeat it back to you. Then after user input something, some text, then this text will be assigned to this variable message. So next we can print a message. So the input function takes one argument, the prompt or instructions that we want to display to the user so they know what to do. In this example, when Python runs the first line, the user sees the prompt, tell me something, and I will repeat it back to you. So the program waits while the user enters their response and continues after the user press enter. The response is stored in the variable message, then print message displays the input back to the user. So when you run input in Spider, sometimes you may come with internal problem with this function because of the version compatibility. So one way to solve this problem is to upgrade the Spider to version 5.3.0 using command and anaconda prompt. So this is the 6 steps. First, you start anaconda prompt in Windows Start menu. Then activate your environment. For example, you have created an environment in the first lecture in this course. For example, have been created called learn Python. Then you run conda activate learn Python. Then this environment has been activated. Then on the prompt window, you put pip install spite == 5.3.0. Then after a while, it will be successfully finished. Then you check. Maybe some other packages will be upgraded, but sometimes several packages will not be upgraded. But you can omit this error message. Just check if the version of Spider has been upgraded to 5.3.0. You can use the command conda list Spider in the same window. Conda list Spider, it will list which version of the Spider has been installed. Because Anaconda has Spider installed, but the version of Spider in Anaconda may not compatible with the input function. So we upgrade the Spider to 5.3.0 currently. Then you can start Spider from Windows Start menu Anaconda, and so yeah, it will be okay. And the user input, about user input, you have to write clear prompts each time you use the input function. You should include a clear, easy to follow prompt that tells the user exactly what kind of information you are looking for. Any statement that tells the user what to enter should work. For example, add a space at the end of a prompt after the colon in the preceding example to separate the prompt from the user's response and to make it clear to your user where to enter their text. So we write name is input. The prompt is please enter your name, and what the user entered is a text value assigned to the name. So here we have a space here after the colon. So after the user had entered, for example, Wilson, then the Wilson will have a space between the user input text and the name. Then we print here hello name, and we can build a multi-line string for the prompt. Sometimes you will want to write a prompt that's longer than one line. For example, you can store your prompt in a variable and pass that variable to the input function. This allows you to build your prompt over several lines. Then write a clear input statement. For example, here the prompt, we first create a variable called the prompt, a string variable. If you tell us what you are, we can personalize the message you see. Then we can add extra string to this prompt variable. Use add equal, add a plus sign and equal. Yeah. Or we can write a prompt equal prompt plus this is the same, but this is easier. Prompt and plus sign equal. This is a new string, extra string. So the prompt variable will be, if you tell us what you are, we can personalize the message you see. Then a new line, what is your first name, colon and a space. So the user will put his name after colon with a space, of course. Then we can write name is input prompt. So this prompt long string will be input here. Then the user will see this long string. Then user will put his name. Then the name will be saved in the variable name. Then can print out the message. We can show these commands in Anaconda Spider. So this is section 6 called user input and while loop in this course. Then lecture 1, user input. Okay, first you can write message. We run. So here we'll show prompt. So we can try Wilson. This is the, you can say write hello Wilson. Okay, so this message created and user input has been created, put into the variable message. Then we can print this message. Then show hello Wilson. Then here we can build a multi-line string for the prompt. So first we create this line for the prompt selection. Then we will put extra string to this variable. Use the plus equal with the extra string. Actually the same as prompt. Same as this line. Prompt equals prompt plus this extra string, but we use this easier one. So we add some extra string to the prompt. Run. Then the prompt will be a long string with a two line. Then we use input function to prompt the user to put something. Then we run this. Then the user will see two lines. If you tell us who you are, we can personalize the message you see. And what's your first name? Name Jen, for example. Jen is my first name. Run. Then we can. Then the Jen is the name is created as a variable, and the variable's value is the text Jen. So we can print this message, hello Jane. Hello Jane. In this lecture, we will continue talking about the user input, called the user input part B, and using int to accept the numeric input. When you use the input function and the user inputs a number, Python interprets it as a string. So if all you want to do is print the input, this works well. But if you try to use the input as a number, you have to use the int function, which tells Python to treat the input as a numerical value. The int function converts a string representation of a number to a numerical representation, as shown here. Here, age, input, how old are you? So when user inputs a number, then this number will be saved to variable age, but it is a string type. So if, for example, user input 21, so here we use int function to transform the string age to a number value, also called age. So we transform a string value to a number, to a numerical value, and save back to age variable. And next we can do, for example, a comparison. If age is larger than or equal to 18, then the result will be true. And consider a program that determines whether people are tall enough to ride a roller coaster. So here, for example, the height is a variable, and there's a prompt to the user, how tall are you in inches? Then user will input some number, then save to height. But now the height is a string, this value is a string. Then we use int, transform the string value of variable height to a numerical value, and save back to this variable height. So next, do a comparison, conditional test. If height is larger than or equal to 36, then we print a message, you're tall enough to ride. If not, then we'll print you will be able to ride when you are a little older. So the program can compare height to 36 because height is int height, then converts the input value to a numerical representation before the comparison is made. So if the number entered is greater than or equal to 36, we tell the user that they are tall enough. And the modulo operator in Python. A useful tool for working with numerical information is the modulo operator. Percent symbol. We use percent symbol for the modulo operator, which divides one number by another number and returns the remainder. So for example, 4 divided by 3, but we use this modulo symbol, will return the remainder of this division, then the result is 1. And similarly, 5 modulo 3 is 1. 6 modulo 3, 0. So here, for example, height is int height, then if height and the following program will tell the input value is even or odd using modulo operation. Then this program will also give an input prompt to the user. The prompt is enter a number, and I will tell you if it is even or odd. And the user will input a number. Then the number is a string, and use int function to transform to a numerical value, save back to this number. Then do the modulo operation. A conditional test. If number modulo 2 double equals 0, conditional test. If this test result is true, then we print a new line, then the number, and here also we'll use a string function str, because concatenation only accepts a string, though now the number is a numerical value. So the number, for example, 36 is even. But if the user is input odd number, for example 13, then we'll print else statement after the else, and print the number 13 is odd. We will show these commands in Anaconda Spider. And we go to section 6, user input while loop, and lecture 2, user input part B, using int to accept a numeric input. Then we first let the user to input an inch for the height run. How tall are you? We just put 5 inch. Then we use height is int height. Then run a conditional test if height is larger than or equal to 36, for example. So because 5 is not larger than or equal to 36, we'll print this information, this message. You will be able to write when you are a little older. And the modulo operator, number, input a number. If it is even or odd, we run this prompt. Then we, for example, 35, input us a number 35. And then run this function int number, change it to numeric value. Then we run again a conditional test if else. If number modulo 2 is equal 0, then print your number is even. Otherwise, we'll print number is odd. Okay, 35, the number 35 is odd, because modulo 35 modulo 2 not equal 0, is equal 1. Okay.